Hello, my name is Barb Mundahl. I'm a civil engineer with the City of St. Paul Public Works Department. Today, we're going to talk about the upcoming Wheelock-Grotto reconstruction project. We'll cover project scope and schedule, design, what it's like to live through construction, assessments, and finish up with contact information. So starting with the project scope, this Wheelock-Grotto project will be constructed in 2 phases. The areas in blue will be constructed in 2025, and the yellow and the green will be constructed in 2026. The yellow indicates a full reconstruction, and the green indicates mill and overlay only. So today we're focusing on phase 1, which you can see here, the streets that will be reconstructing in 2025. We plan to start construction in the early summer of 2025 and be completed by mid-November, also 2025. The average street widths in the area range from 28 feet wide to 32 feet wide in a 60-foot right-of-way. Some streets already have sidewalks. Folsom and Avon have sidewalks on both sides of the street. Ivy has sidewalks on the north side only. Orange and Parkview have no sidewalks at all. Most of the streets allow parking on both sides. And sometimes the boulevards have eroded so much from parking that the streets appear a lot wider than they actually are. East Como Boulevard from Ivy to Parkview ranges from 24 feet wide to 28 feet wide, with parking squeezed in on the north side. Sorry, I'm trying to advance my slides. Osage has a wider right-of-way at 80 feet, and that the street width ranges from 28 to 34 feet. There is sidewalk on the east side, and that sidewalk is about 5 to 7 feet away from the property line. The wider right-of-way allows for plenty of room to install a sidewalk that can meander around trees to minimize tree impacts. The existing conditions, as you can see, eroded boulevards, poor pavement quality. Our surveyors have been out there. I'm sure a lot of you have seen them, and what they're doing is recording existing conditions, and then they're also verifying property lines. It appears that many fences and retaining walls might be actually within the city right-of-way. So our surveyors are verifying those property lines. There are many carriage walks. Those are the walks that go parallel to the curb, and they kind of act like curb now. Those carriage walks will be removed as part of the project and not replaced. However, the outwalks, which are the sidewalks that go from your front door out to the curb, will be replaced. We are trying to grade the streets such that we'll no longer need outwalk steps, and that'll be more of a flat surface or slope down to the curb. There are many sidewalk gaps in the project area that we will have some limited space in some areas to create a ADA compliant sidewalk. There are many retaining walls that are in various conditions within the project area, and where there are new sidewalks, we will try and stay away from those retaining walls to minimize impact. So some design topics for the project. I think I've heard from a lot of people that concerns about sidewalks, and paving projects strive to implement council-approved policies, and the sidewalk policy was passed in 2017, recommending sidewalks on both sides of an improved street. We will be posting a separate presentation regarding sidewalks only, and we'll get into the specifics of where sidewalks are proposed and what we're doing to minimize impacts to property owners and trees. But for more information about the sidewalk policy, I've provided a link here. We'll also be implementing a bicycle boulevard striping on East Como Boulevard between Lakeview and Arlington in accordance with the approved bicycle plan. And what this is not a bike trail, simply pavement markings indicating share the road. And for more on a bicycle plan, another link is provided. So what are the proposed improvements for this reconstruction project? It includes new concrete curb and gutter, new roadway pavement, lots of utility upgrades, including new sewers and new water main, sidewalk replacement, new sidewalks where none exist, ADA compliant ped ramps, lantern style street lighting, and tree planting. So we will be putting in concrete curb and gutter as shown in the after picture with new storm catch basins. The catch basins help manage stormwater and direct the runoff into the, or curb and gutter helps manage stormwater and directs the runoff into catch basins. In some areas of the project, we will be installing infiltration trenches under the street to filter some of that stormwater. As mentioned, bituminous pavement will be a lot nicer, smoother surface for drivability. With the sidewalks, we will also be including ADA compliant pedestrian ramps. There are two shown here. One is directional, and if this little area becomes too small, we will install a fan ramp instead. Driveways, all the driveway aprons will be replaced as part of the project. They will be concrete regardless of what they are now. If they're asphalt aprons, they will be concrete. If they're brick or any other special surfacing, it will also be replaced with concrete. And maximum driveway width that we will replace is 12 feet wide. Right now there is wood pole lighting in the project area. We will take those wood poles and the davit arms down and be installing the lantern style street lighting. And just as an aside, our street lighting staff are working to prevent and deter wire theft from streetlights. And for more information about those efforts, please see this link. There's a lot of very mature trees in the area. Some are very close to the curb and may be impacted by construction. St. Paul Forestry will be out to assess tree health and help us determine which trees will survive construction and which are better to remove. I understand there's been a lot of tree loss in the area from the recent storms. And in those areas, at the end of the project, we will plant new trees. Other potential impacts to existing trees may be lead water service replacement or sewer service replacements. Trees will be marked prior to removal and usually with a red ring around them. So we more to come on that. Again, our St. Paul Forestry will be assessing impacts to trees. And after the project, they will plant new trees. Here's a list of typical species that are planted in the city of St. Paul. and those tree species will be determined by St. Paul Forestry. The City of St. Paul is also partnering with Cap Region Watershed District to provide rain gardens, boulevard rain gardens. Some sites are better suited than others to capture rainwater runoff, and the Cap regions will be assessing the feasibility of boulevard rain gardens on each street. If you are interested, you can certainly reach out to me or to Chris Kusek from Cap Regions. At Cap Regions will also reach out to property owners if in areas that they think are good candidates for rain gardens. So now we're going to talk a little bit about utility improvements. There'll be a lot of them in the neighborhood. To start out with, early in next spring, private utilities such as Xcel Gas and communication companies will be upgrading their facilities. They'll probably start way before our paving contractor does, and they will replace gas services and communication lines, and they'll do a temporary patch, knowing that we're coming in to replace sidewalks and pavement later. St. Paul Regional Water Service will also be upgrading their water mains. Many of the water mains that are existing are 6 inches in diameter, and the standard replacement size is 8 inches in diameter, so more water capacity. The water mains are installed by our public works contractor, but they're inspected by St. Paul Regional Water. And water mains must pass a whole series of bacterial tests, pressure tests, and conductivity tests. So sometimes this process can take a while after the main is actually installed. So just know that they are testing those pipes for your safety before they put them into service. In the meantime, St. Paul Regional Water will provide temporary water mains, and they will be these yellow pipes that will be on the surface. The water can get warm in the summertime, but if you run your water, it'll cool down quickly. These water mains are fully bacterial tested prior to being hooked up to your home. And just as an aside, water is provided at no cost when you're connected to a temporary main. So they like to tell people, fill up your pools or your fish tanks or whatever you need, because there will be no water bill during construction. When they hook up the temporary water main to your home, they will need access to your home to hook them up. And then when they take the temporary water mains down, they will need access again to disconnect them and then to connect you to the new main. St. Paul Regional Water will replace any lead services from the property line to the main at no cost. That's an automatic thing. There is an option to replace that if you have a lead service, replace from the house to the property line, and that is funded by a special federal fund to get the lead out. For more information on that program, you can contact Luke Sandstrom from St. Paul Regional Water. So again, St. Paul Sewers will be replacing sewer mains and offering, similar to St. Paul Regional Water, sewer service replacement. The project, as part of the project, we can replace your sewer service from the main to the property line. That is an additional fee that can be added to your assessment. And it's completely optional. You can you can opt to have the project replace it, and then if you want to replace the portion from the property line to the home, that would be done by a private contractor and organized by the property owner. Some common sewer issues that we see is either a dropped connection to the main or latrivate intrusions into the sewer service. Some indications of if you might have a defective service, or if you have backups, or if things drain really slowly, if you know that there are trees or bushes planted over the sewer line, or if you have a sinkhole or depression where your sewer service is. Again, some common sewer problems is tree root intrusion, and then a dropped connection to the main. So some benefits of repairing your sewer service and during construction is that it's a lot cheaper is the main, and also you're not paying for street restoration. So again, it is a lot cheaper. You can put it on your assessment and pay it over 20 years. And here's just an example of cost comparison with the construction project or separately. Property owners will receive a waiver form from St. Paul Sewers. And that waiver form would be giving the public works contractor the permission to replace your sewer service. When you receive that waiver, if you want to take advantage of this offer, please fill out and return to me or to the sewer department. Okay, so what's it like living through a construction project? It is inconvenient, and you will have some limited access. There will be noise and dust, and if it rains, there'll be mud. You know, we will try to make it as easy as possible, but this is the nature of construction. Your street will be dug up numerous times by different crews. I know it seems inefficient, but each of these crews specialize in a different aspect of the construction project. Work is done in layers. It's done by different crews. Plan on about 4 to 5 months of disruption. And when I say that, that's not 4 to 5 months in front of your house. That's for the entire project. Business and resident and emergency vehicle access will be maintained at all times. Again, all of the construction is done by private construction companies. They work typically 5 to 6 days a week from 7 a.m. until about 7 p.m. The City of St. Paul will have an on-site representative, like a project inspector, to inspect the contractor's work. And of course, road work is weather dependent, and rain will delay the work. An important distinction between road closed signs. Road closed to through traffic means that you can go around these signs to get to your destination, your driveway, but you won't be able to get all the way through, like it to, you won't be able to get through. If road closed signs mean do not enter. It's dangerous. There's probably a gaping hole on the other side of it. And if there's any question at all, do not, road closed means road closed. You will receive a letter prior to the start of construction. I'd recommend keeping that for contact numbers and names. A flyer will be handed out before construction starts on your block. They usually put these on your front door, so please check your front door for flyers. Again, we will have an on-site public works inspector, and that is the person that will be there on site and know what's going on. So they should be your first call. And we will provide that with this letter, we will provide that person's name and phone number. And then we will provide weekly updates. They'll be posted on our website, stpaul.gov. Here's a few milestones to throughout the construction process. And after all the utility work is done, they'll fill the holes back up and they'll start staking. That's what these little stakes are. And then they'll pour curb and they'll do some final grading and then pavement. And so when you see these milestones, you'll know that we're getting close to the end. A few words about assessments. Street construction is funded by street reconstruction bonds and assessments to abutting property owners. The assessment rates for paving and lighting will be determined after an independent appraisal, and prior to a public hearing. You will get a public hearing notice about 6 weeks before the hearing, which will have your proposed assessment. Property owners are assessed after the construction project is complete. So you'll have that public hearing, and that's giving, that's the city council approves the project, approves the assessments, and then we'll do the project. And at the end of the project, so November of 2025, we'll have another assessment hearing. And so those will be two separate public hearings. There will be a separate assessment for optional private sewer repair. And then I guess if you have more information, if you need more information about assessments, please visit stpaul.gov/assessments. Again, I'm Barb Mundell. I will be the project manager. Right now, the proposed inspector is Brad McKiska, and his number is here. And then there are some other more specific contact information. And thank you for listening.